Terry's helped create the very first online slot and continues to play a critical role in the creation and development of titles and the business and the industry. So without further ado, let me introduce Terry to you all today. Terry, thank you so much for being here. Welcome. Well, starting off, when did you really know that the time was right to start this project? And I mean, how much of a daunting task was it to create a sequel for such a game that has as much clout as Immortal Romance?
Well, I mean, a sequel was always on the cards. I knew what I wanted to do with the sequel years ago when I was still writing the lyrics for the first game. So it was just all about waiting for the right time. The plan was to actually wait for the original game's commercial performance to start to slide, which is normal and natural, but Immortal Romance lived up to its namesake and never showed any signs of dying off. I guess when the 10-year anniversary of the game came around, I started getting a lot more pressure from from the business to prioritize the sequel. So I think that's what motivated me to kick the project off and make it official.
Why do you think players love Immortal Romance so much? What do you think that staying power is for the past 13 years?
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot. I believe personally that success is all about the right timing. And I think there are many reasons why Immortal Romance 1 was such a success, and timing was definitely one of them. The world was crazy about vampires at the time, and I think the timing of the release played a big part in that. In fact, I deliberately held back the launch of the game, which was ready to go halfway through the year. And I said, no, I want to release it in December because that was going to be in the orbit of the release of that other vampire movie that was getting a lot of attention at the time. So I think that may have contributed to it. But adding to that, I think, Immortal was a derivative of Thunderstruck 2, our Thunderstruck 2 game, which was hugely popular at the time. And actually the first of its kind. It was the first online slot from a technology point of view to actually save the game state of a player. And that created massive opportunity for bonus feature progression. So at a technological level, it was a huge jump forward for the industry, for the online industry, even for the land-based industry. That wasn't even in the land-based industry. So that was a first for us, and we carried that into Immortal. What else can I say? Look, Immortal was a beautifully and a carefully crafted, unique gaming experience, and we introduced compelling characters with intriguing narratives, which culminated in us writing and composing what I can say, because other people have told me, a really amazing soundtrack to support each one of the characters' free spin features. So I guess I would say there was nothing like it in the industry at the time, and I think players were drawn to it for multiple reasons, whether it be the theme and the design style, the supporting narrative and the soundtrack, or the innovative features and really carefully balanced game maths.
So how are you ensuring that you're bringing Immortal Romance 2 to a next level, but still remaining true and respectful to a game that is so beloved and so known, and so it is online gaming?
It's the $1 million question, isn't it? So it certainly was a big responsibility to deliver a sequel, but not just any sequel, a successful sequel to one of the most popular and commercially successful online slot games of all time. I think it's important to mention that we were incredibly mindful from the start, the entire team, about finding that this was our intention. I think it was all about setting the right intention. And our intention was to find that careful balance between the familiarity and nostalgia of the original, coupled with the excitement that comes from exploring and understanding the unique features and mechanics of a new game. That was how we started philosophically with the project. We created Immortal 2 with longevity in mind, and we really leaned into our core values as a studio of craftsmanship and entertainment. And we were confident that our player-centric approach to game design would deliver a great user experience for players. So I I really hope that players see and appreciate the care and consideration that has gone into every aspect of this long-awaited sequel, and I hope that they are all open to falling in love with our new creation all over again.
How does the storyline in Immortal Romance 2 extend the narrative from the original slot? Sharing some insights maybe of character development, intriguing drama we can expect from this installment. Anything you'd like to share?
Sure. I think in the original game, I deliberately left Sarah's narrative on a bit of a cliffhanger because I had every intention of following it up with a sequel and further unpacking and exploring the intriguing mythology around Immortal Romance. So let's get into it. So even though it's like 12 years may have passed since the original game and now the sequel coming out, in the world of Immortal, only 3 weeks has passed. Okay, so that's the headspace that you need to be looking at the game narrative and the game story. So we find Sarah, who is the hero of the game, struggling with the dilemma that she may have achieved her most incredible scientific breakthrough of her career, but it has come at the cost of her relationship with Michael, who has completely withdrawn from the world as he feels betrayed and responsible for putting the woman that he loves in mortal danger. Because in the first game, if you remember from the cinematics, Michael gave Sarah some of his blood to test in order to prove his immortality to her. A publication was actually made of her discovery by her pharmaceutical company. So that went viral around the reversal of cellular degeneration. So that would ultimately reach the Shadow Council, who are ultimately responsible for making sure that any knowledge of the Night Tribes remains a big secret by any means necessary. Okay, so that's the situation between Sarah and Michael. Enter Troy. So Troy is let's say the wayward son of Michael, who, in an attempt to gain his maker's favor and prove his self-worth, ended up joining the Shadow Council's Academy of Assassins. And in a wicked twist of fate, Troy's first assignment turns out to be his maker's mortal lover, Sarah. So all these fateful events are made visible to Amber through her abilities, her psychic abilities, and her precognitive visions and dreams. And in a desperate attempt to save her best friend from impending doom, she decides to cast the most powerful spell of protection that has been passed down over the generations of lightworkers before her. So these are some of the dramatic storylines that are kind of playing out in the cinematics. And you'll also hear about it in the lyrics of the songs. So if you listen carefully to the lyrics, you'll hear some of the things that I've just described. So that story, the songs are ultimately a vehicle for the narrative of the game as well. And for those of you that stick around till 5,000 spins, there is a really dramatic cliffhanger cinematic that plays out in recognition of reaching immortality status, which threads all of these intriguing storylines together into one, where all 4 characters come together in one cinematic.
What details can you want to share about the creation of the soundtrack to the sequel? I'd love to hear more about that weaving of the narrative that you're describing into the music and how each of the tracks or each of the songs are really showcasing that narrative.
I would say one of my favorite parts of the creative process was writing the lyrics for the songs, and collaborated with my incredibly talented sound designers to compose the music before we reached out to our the professional singers to do the performance and do the vocals. We were very excited. I was super excited to hear that the singer from the original game, who had left the country and was established elsewhere globally, was interested again to collaborate with us. So with that in mind, I was very mindful of her vocal range and therefore also worked with my guys in order to figure out what could be the best song and how we could write the best song that would really work for her vocal range, which we did. So as I mentioned already, each character song is a vehicle for the Immortal Romance narrative, and Amber's song, for example, maybe we start with that, Turn the Tide. I think this was the one that, this was the one that took the longest to sign off. I think we went through many iterations until I was happy with it, because I knew that Amber's original song, In the Dead of Night, was the most popular and the one that that players loved the most. In fact, my original sound designer contacted me from Australia to say, Terry, check this video out. And it was, someone had actually done a cover on YouTube of In the Dead of Night, and that just blew me away, that they felt that that was a song worth covering. So yeah, yes. But anyway, so Amber's song, I think, evolved over time into quite an awesome, I would say, an anthem of self-empowerment, and a reminder of the inner strength and resilience that kind of resides and vibrates in all of us. So that was kind of the intention behind the writing of that song. The other character songs, I think, took a much darker tone, exploring more of the shadow side of the human psyche. It is Immortal Romance, after all, so it is quite gothic in its theming. Troy's song, I'm glad you like that one, Kimber. Troy's song is one of my favorites. Its title is Monster, and it's all about the kind of rebellious defiance that he uses to mask his own painful inadequacies. Michael's song, which is entitled Forever, explores the feelings of heartbreak associated with betrayal, which I think we've all felt at some time in our lives. And then Sarah sings about the injustice of emotional rejection in her song Sacrifice. So yes, as Kimber, as you said, the album has launched on Spotify and all major streaming sites. So we would really appreciate it if you guys would drop us a follow and listen to the songs. We've got the original album up there, as well as both albums from our Thunderstruck franchise. Also, I think it's an important thing to note for all the streamers that all the music in the game, all the sound in the game is 100% Games Global property. I know sometimes you worry about not being able to stream with music, but you can. So please, by all means, turn that volume up.
I just wanted to outline and showcase a little competition that we have for everyone on the call today. First of all, thank you so much for being here. Terry, if you would, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot yet, but if you would maybe give us a little showcase on some of the prizes.
Well, I've got one prize that I can show you guys. So guys, there's a prize like we did last time. Dun, dun, dun. Can you see what this is? It is the vinyl for Immortal Romance 2 soundtrack. We've got a awesome poster inside of this side, which I'm not going to open up because I'm not going to be able to fold it back and put it in there. But on the other side, we have the vinyl, which looks super amazing because it's red. How cool is that?
Oh gosh.
How amazing is that? So on side one, you will have the tracks from the original game, from Immortal Romance 1, and then on the second side is Immortal Romance 2. So if you guys think this is worth playing for, you know what to do.
I am going to go ahead and start making our way through some of these questions. They're going to come at you rapid fire, so we can get through as many as we can. First question, let me ask, is from Abby. The soundtrack of the original release is epic, in caps lock, just so we're all clear. But the second soundtrack is arguably even better. Ooh, those are some fighting words, Abby. Are there any anecdotes you can share with us about the creation of the music?
Yeah, I think I've already mentioned it was great to get Candace. I'll answer these quickly because I know there's a few to get through. It was great to get Candace back again to do the vocals. She did the vocals for both Amber and Sarah's songs. That's an interesting one. When we wrote the music for Michael, when we wrote the lyrics and music for Michael, I was saying to my guys as we were busy brainstorming, I said, you know, it would be amazing if we could get Dave Gahan to sing this, because it's really, he's got that kind of gritty voice that would really be amazing. And we reached out to his company directly and didn't hear back. But we did the next best thing, which was we reached out to a very well-known cover band in the US called Strangelove, and they do Depeche Mode covers. And we reached out to them, and they said yes, and we collaborated incredibly successfully with them. So you guys have a listen to Forever. If it sounds a little bit like that famous band from the 80s, it's deliberate. We felt like that was the vibe that we wanted to try and connect with in Michael's track Forever. So there you go. There's a little bit of an anecdote that nobody would have known.
Oh, is there going to be an Immortal Romance 3? And then what I want to package it with is there potential mashup on the roadmap for Immortal Romance 2 with mechanics like Gold Blitz or progressives like Mega Moolah?
Yeah, we're absolutely looking at that already. So the team is already working on that. So watch the space. And in terms of what comes after a sequel, a trequel? Probably not, right? Whatever comes after, we have spin-offs planned. We're busy talking about that as well. So I have an entire story in my head that I can't wait to get out. So I'm looking forward to exploring and unpacking the intriguing tales of and mythology within the Immortal Romance world in upcoming games.
From AK, as a studio you guys love, all caps, I'm loving the caps, guys, big storylines and cinematics. Can we hear more about Stormcraft and how you guys work together?
Oh, that would be giving away all of our secret sauce, so I'm not sure I can give you too much detail. But yeah, we're based in South Africa. I'm a storyteller at heart, I think. So I love the narratives, and then the guys get excited about it too. I think what's so important is that the foundation needs to be built on something that has value and that people can connect with. So we're always thinking about what is the story, what is the backstory. Tell me something that I'm going to remember, and I think that's how we approach our projects. With that narrative in mind. Some we have significant narratives, like, with Thunderstruck as well as Immortal, but with other games, there's always a good foundation about what is it all about. I often say to my creatives, tell me a bedtime story. Where are we going to go with this? What's the character's background? What are they doing tomorrow? And that helps us really think about characters as a whole. I think we're a strong character-driven studio. Yeah, I'm very excited to share with you guys very soon what we're planning to do with Jungle Jim. He's over there. Where is he? There he is over there. We've got a great storyline planned for Jungle Jim, as well as unpacking the next version of Thunderstruck when we do Thunderstruck 4, and we introduce 2 new characters at the same time. So how about that for a good ending?
I don't think there could be a better one. Terry, on behalf of myself, Games Global, Arpigné, I want to say a huge thank you for being with us today and for explaining and talking through the genius behind the game and the mechanics, and really hearing it from your side is completely invaluable. So huge thank you. Arpigné has put out a bunch of stuff for the different competitions.